Always it is difficult after the lunch time to start any discussion. I think, Ravindra, we have set up a good pointer for the set of this context for the discussion. Sustainability, right? Okay, we are going through a phases in the industry where everybody is talking about sustainability, and sustainable supply chain is part of the process which is now being inherited within the organizations. And this is a journey. I think it is a long journey. Within like if you say uh, uh, worldwide it is being said that okay, 2050, 2030, 2070 will be the part of the process of net zero neutral. And within India also, government of India has set a target of 2050, and organizations are also setting it for a different region that okay, how they will be put their process into the journey. As I said, it is a long journey to move ahead with that, and the support from entire industry has to be there, like we are linked to each other in a different segment of it. Basically, when it comes to supply chain sustainability, there are various key factors we need to look into, especially the environmental part of it, which is always be part of the whole process. Then the financial responsibility is one of the key element out of it, that how financially we are being adhered to this journey out of it, because it is a very critical factors. A lot of risks are involved into this, and then how we are taking this risk into it. And the third part, which is very critical, is the social responsibility, that how at society at large we are taking this journey together. There are various reports being published, and I think you must be reading those articles, that how supply chain sustainability is taking a journey out of it. And if I quote one report saying that 60% of the global emissions are being through the supply chain, right? That the movement of across the globe, the journey what we are having is 60% emissions is being supported or being controlled by the supply chain experts. So it is a very good, big onus on all of us to play a very vital role on the movement. There are various industry segments. It may be food industry, pharma, electronics, automotive. So these are the major industry which have a thrust on this journey. In also one of the reports, we have seen it that at the Gartner level, which they published just recently, saying the 49 to 50% of the CEOs across the globe, they are really showing that extreme weather conditions and affecting the whole operation facility across the globe is a big risk. Like we have seen it, a lot of risk due to the Red Seas. We have seen Suez Canal, we have seen Panama, and there are a lot of other things are there because of the war, like Russia-Ukraine war. We have seen a lot of vitality in the demand supply. We have seen it, and there are a lot of initiatives being done by Government of India on this also, and industries are also taking place into the big way. To discuss this sustainable supply chain for financial and efficient outcome, I have a 3 experts panel with me. I think we need to hear from them what in their industries and how they are taking care of it. So firstly, I'll go to Dhirendra on this, to you. Just highlight how sustainable supply chain will be bringing a competitiveness, whether it is the lean and agile processes or any other processes. What you think about it?
Thank you, Mr. Ajay. You have set in context why there is a need of sustainable supply chain. When you talked about sustainable supply chain, rightly you have told. So now organizations are moving more and more societal, economical, now environmental. So all 3 dimensions are getting covered with the proper integration. We talked about lean and agile supply chains. Even I am quoting my previous speaker. He has talked about Bada Pav. So it's all about agile, how more responsive. And when he talked about linear, so it is somewhere how we are moving out from those wastages, how you are curtailing all those issues related to non-value adding things. So even in sustainability, organizations which having a similar foresight and they are looking for with having a similar, same kind of challenges, they are looking forward to maybe collaborate with each other so that both the concept, like I can bet on that these things, like not only any organization can get into lean and skipping agile can be succeed. So it is a mix of integrated mode, like need to be made call as it's a agile way of operating where you need to have a mixed culture, mixed concept. So when we think about to be lean as well as agile, so there are various ways out to make it more and more sustainable, make it more environmental aspects to be a part of social responsibilities. So organization in this era, if you talked about whether it is a business goal, yes, sustainable has become a part of business goal. It no more as a top-bottom approach, it's a bottom-top approach where lean agility is reflected in you can see if the mission and vision statement of top management. It's also shown that sustainability is a part of the business practice. Even if we talked about bottom-up approach, where the employees, the functional collaborations, that also reflected that. I can quote an example, the industry which we are into. Like our product is, like we talked about sustainability, if it is reducing the carbon footprint or recycling the plastic, these all are the terminology which, or people and organizations are opting those. So if you construction industry, your plant may be near to the raw material or maybe near to the demand centers. So in cement industry, like so integrated units, those are mostly related to near to the raw material. So like mines. And if it is a demand center, the packaging units or grinding units, they are mostly near to the demand centers. So the basic objective is to how you can have a proximity and how you can optimize your routes. So both logistical and both operational collaboration is there. You can have a more sustainable business practice. So this is a good example of bottom-up approach. There are many mode which I also talked upon, like demand planning, SOP. These all SNOP plannings, these all are helping us to visualize what may be a ways out we can reduce, curtail these carbon emissions and make more and more sustainable. We all talked about previous speakers, like those are the challenges. If I talked about reducing the packaging, so how make it more lean and more innovative so that this recycling of the packaging industry, maybe you are giving a carbon credit and taking back the benefit. There are n number of examples in this where both the things where the lean and agile concept is prevailing. I believe that is the buzzword which is rightly for the sustainable practice.
Good. I think Dhirendra, you come out with the word. I think to share how the agile and responsiveness is coming into play a role. There is always a thought process in the sustainable supply chain is because it has to be responsive, it has to be agile, and you have a resiliency in place because we are talking a lot of resilient supply chain nowadays on the factors. I'll come to Anurag on this, that your thought on this innovations, spearheading the innovations on this sustainable supply chain, the process of like start to finish, that how you take it in your organization and your experiences into this.
Yeah, so thank you, Ajay. Sorry, my throat is a little sore, but we'll manage. I think going back to what Dheeraj he was mentioning, the industry which he comes from, construction in the background, same So I come from the FMCG background. So I don't know whether many of you are aware or not. So there is a factory of Unilever, which has been recently declared by the World Economic Forum as the one of the factories from India, which is at the fourth industrial revolution stage. It has all the capabilities of IoT, machine, artificial, in fact, machine learning, data analytics, big data, as well as digital twins. So this is a factory basically for their product, which is situated in Haryana. And now what they are focusing on is in reducing the carbon footprint, how they are using their renewable energy. They have put in energy management systems so as to whether all the parameters of energy consumption, where we talk about reducing the carbon footprint through renewable energies, those are within the controllable parameters. In fact, one of the technologies that they have adopted is of digital twins. So generally, whenever any disruption in supply chain, and it is actually given that we will face disruptions in supply chain. So they have actually the concept of digital twin for machinery within the plant, wherein the scenarios or the parameters which can be optimized. So as a result, the decision which will give the correct output, those scenarios are pre-planned and then the right decision is taken so as to actually reduce the wastage and improve the efficiency. So those are the capabilities which has helped them actually come up and become more competent in terms of costs and become more agile. So just wanted to add on that question which you had previously mentioned. Now, coming to innovation, see, again, sustainability, as you mentioned, every government, they are taking their targets in their climate meets. India, we had given 2070 as one of the targets. And so there are different legs, and for each leg, how the organization as a whole is combining innovation in sustainability across each of the legs and trying to bring in synergy from this. Let's just think about the raw material or the packaging material from where we start at the back end of the supply chain. Now you find different organizations how they are going to bring in more environment-friendly raw materials or packaging materials. So, in fact, in India, you have different states where you have controls over the thickness of the packaging material in terms of plastic. So, you will find that different thickness of plastic is required for states of Jammu and Kashmir or Maharashtra in the organization where I work, and all those targets are there. So, how do you bring in innovation to actually provide different grade of plastics which is more sustainable? In fact, when I worked in Reckitt, they had come up with actually different kind of packaging for their hand wash, which could be, which was more reusable and hence a part of the circular supply chain. Similarly, when you come to manufacturing, which I was mentioning earlier, how do you use these new technologies of digital twins or the innovations that are coming from energy management systems so as to use the renewable energy and reduce your carbon footprint? Logistics, again, one of the projects, and I think it is actually now a given where more and more organizations, they are moving towards the fleet of electric vehicles, be it from the cost as well as the sustainability point of view. So in Reckitt, at least in major cities, I was instrumental in actually rolling out the fleet of electric vehicles for the local distribution. So these are some of the examples. And in fact, within the industry, we were quite delayed. But a lot of industries, they have actually adopted this practice, starting with the e-commerce and the quick commerce. Similarly, in fact, the last angle which I wanted to talk about was, see, sustainability, not only as an organization, today as a consumer also, in FMCG, people are very educated and they are very conscious about their choices. So what they are consuming, whether that has sustainable practices involved or not. In fact, a couple of months back, I was having an interaction with one of the directors of General Mills. So he was speaking about one of the supply chain initiatives, which one of the largest seafood brand in North America, they had taken, Bumblebee actually. So they are actually using blockchain to determine and capture the data, because it is tamper-proof, from where the seafood is actually coming from the ocean to the table. So we talk about the farm-to-farm model or seafood-to-table model. So every node of the sustainability practices, whether they have been actually captured and it's a sustainable practice that is available as a choice to the consumer. So these are some of the different legs, in fact, in supply chain where sustainability is going hand in hand with innovation and actually definitely helping to make supply chain more agile, more competitive, as well as helping the organizations as well as the governments to actually move towards the target of whatever they have defined at least.
Thank you, Anurag. I think we covered the processes, then we covered innovation. The remaining is the challenges. I think we have, when you set a process, there always be a challenges, and nonetheless, we have in supply chain, we have a lot of challenges on this. One side, we have to keep our operations always ongoing, and then we have sustainable sourcing comes into play a very bigger role into this. Priyanka, I'll come to you to just throw some experiences of you on the challenges what we are facing through in this journey.
Yeah. Thanks, Ajay. And sorry for being the harbinger of bad news. So not many good examples to share here, but I would primarily want to talk about the challenges and how we are currently treating sustainability and what we think from our experiences, how we need to treat it actually. So first of all, when we talk of sustainability, the first thought that comes to everybody's mind is cost reduction. You know, we need to use renewable sources of energy, we need to maybe cut down on our water supplies and water consumption, and how we need to recycle our packaging material. So this all leads to, you know, we are talking of cost reduction. But over a period of time, what as an organization and what based on the feedback that we receive from our global counterparts and based on a wider set of experience that they already have, because everywhere, you know, European regulations come into play much faster, much earlier than many of the things that come into regulation in India, is like sustainability should not be focused only on cost reduction. That is where most of the organizations go wrong. There are many other factors that we need to consider. I would say what we have started implementing and what we urge many of our partners to go through is the revenue growth. So by being a sustainable organization where you're doing a cost reduction, where you are contributing to the environment, there is an indirect revenue growth by means of loyalty of your customers, a bigger market share, maybe a rise in your stock prices. So these are all indirect revenue growth models which you can target or which you should try and attain by means of going through sustainability. So one of the examples, in fact, the property that we are sitting in right now, it's a good example because while we were talking, it came to my mind that ITC is, I would say, is one of the torchbearers of sustainability with respect to all the implementations with regards to maybe the glass bottles that they've got, and there are many other, like some of them are not even known to us, that happen really in the back end. But ITC as of today in India is one of the, I would say, the flag bearer, torch bearer of sustainability initiatives. And as an organization, as a multinational organization, we have a lot of movement of global people. So it's a straight away, very good example that and they know about, these are brands which are known internationally. And when we talk of, you know, stays, whenever there's a certain level of people who stay in certain level of hotels and all that, the first thing that they are like, no, we should have a tie-up with ITC because of their sustainability initiatives. So when I talked of revenue growth, this is the kind of revenue growth that organizations can aim for, because there is a certain value and importance attached to sustainability. Now that we are all talking about sustainability, we have to help each other grow, and I would say maybe award the other for being the harbinger of that. So revenue growth is second that we should consider. Third is definitely the intangible advantages that we are getting by way of people feeling good about working in an organization who pays so much of attention to not only environment, but when we talk of sustainability, it's also about work-life balance. It's also about the way you treat your employees. So it encompasses a lot. Sustainability is a very wide term, as you mentioned earlier. So these are some of the intangible, I would say, advantages that we get. And fourth is regulatory and compliances. So there are a lot of regulations and compliances that keep on coming up from the government time and again. And I would say by being somebody who is in the front of the race, probably you will be also the one who would be, for whom it will be easier to adapt when the time comes, basically. Now, in India, the problem also arises because of the same thing, that when regulations are implemented in Europe, so for us being a multinational, our European, I would say, counterparts expect us to implement those regulations in India. But the problem comes when the government in India does not implement those regulations on the local Indian companies. So for example, a simple example again, till the time the government, I would say, did not make wearing a belt or a helmet chalan kattega, tab tak nobody wears. So today also, you see so many people where they say there's not a policeman, there is not a maybe a machine that will cut a chalan for you. People generally try to, now we are used to wearing a belt, helmet chalega, nahi pehante hain. You know, many such things are implemented only because the government is doing something. So when it comes to sustainability also, there has to be a lot of top-down effort. Like you were talking about trucks, you were using EV trucks, right? For some, you can use it only on the very busy main highways. It's not like, you know, you can't just send it anywhere and everywhere because of this. So like as an organization, we would love to use EV trucks, but where is the infrastructure, right? There is no infrastructure. So my truck goes into the, I would say, the remotest possible of location. Where am I supposed to get the charging point for it? So when we are talking of sustainability, I think forums like these or platforms like these, they have to act like a lobby to the government. Okay, we are doing, because the government is not telling me to use EV. It's not a mandatory thing right now, right? But me as a, I would say, a conscious organization would love to take a lot of steps. But do I have the infrastructure to do that? So I think as supply chain leaders or I think industry leaders, what needs to be emphasized is to have, I would say, a strong lobby for the government, which right now I think is missing, where if even the government is talking about sustainability, we talked about cleaning up the Ganga, we talked about such big things, they were part of sustainability. But what the organizations are trying to do, what is the buy-in from the government? That's one of our biggest challenges, I would say. And now I don't know whether that lobby is missing or whether the government is not giving the support, but without that infrastructural top-down support, okay, I agree that government did give subsidies on EV vehicles, government does give tax rebates on solar panels, now they have even started buying the electricity. If you manage to produce more electricity, first there was a challenge of storing that electricity, buying batteries. But now the government buys that electricity into the grid. So they are doing a lot. But I think for sustainability and for the circular economy to really, I would say, inculcate everywhere for everybody to adopt it and adopt to it easily, there's a lot of top-down effort and from the government that needs to come in. Definitely we all have to do our part, but the infrastructure is one thing I would say that not one person can do anything about it. Just one example being the EV charging points. Not you, not me, my organization can't put up EV points. This is something that we need from the government. So similarly, there are so many other issues. So I would say that infrastructure is one of our challenges right now, that what comes to my mind. Yeah, that's about it.
Good. I think the biggest challenges, as you mentioned, currently faced by Indian companies as like lack of awareness across every verticals. I say like forum like this or any representation from the industry itself, the lack of awareness is there. Then you have infrastructure limitation, what you mentioned, and regulatory complexities, because what we are seeing, like One of the simplest example I'll say, the blockchain. There was a lot of hype of blockchain happened a decade back. But if you see really in the industry or any organizational level, the first leg and the last leg of the blockchain has happened. But when it comes to a regulatory part of it, complexity has gone up. Simple example is like when you go to customs, that you have ice gate, everything is there, but where is the flow of the document going from one end to other end, buyers and customer side. In between, there is a complexity of the government bodies. So there are a lot of complexities are there in between, but nonetheless, I think the forum like this, we have to raise the concerns where, like rightly you said about this, windmills and like solar buyback from the government, which is still happening. But when we go to the intra-state level, then it becomes a lot of challenges. Like one challenge is for this. For the solar energy itself, we are seeing it. We being a manufacturer based of Maharashtra, and we have buy out some solar panels, and we have set a complete thing in Madhya Pradesh. But it is a big challenge to get the credit from Madhya Pradesh to Maharashtra. Windmills, we are getting it from Rajasthan or from other part, Gujarat to Maharashtra, but solar is a big challenge. So why industries will come and put a plant over of all like that? So Dhirendra, I'll come back to you on the innovation part of it. Like we have to do a lot of things on sustainable supply chain. So throw some light about the innovative ideas or something is coming in like in your industry, or something is part and parcel of right from your supply based, something is being done for the sustainable supply chain.
In fact, before moving to innovation, I was supposed to talk about, like, see, Priyanka has rightly told about the infrastructure, and you talked about solar. So there are in our organizations, like we have called it as a power wheeling. So where the solar's energy consumed in your townships, and as well as you can get this mileage in across other area where you sell it to the government and you get it utilized there. So there are a lot of other good government initiations are there, which is more focused into infrastructure. Maybe it's a Sagarmala, maybe like dedicated freight corridor. So these all concept, Gati Shakti, these all are helping us to make a more and more multimodal movement. We will be surprised that we want to understand like 15% of only of our trucking movements are happening with coming with a backload. So our single movement, that is the movements, more and more truck movements will be there. It will add to the carbon emissions. So we talked about sustainable green environment, and we much more depend upon road dispatch. It's almost 65–70% of our total Indian movements happen through road only, where we have other options rightly available like rail, sea. So the organizations from where I am into a much more focus into railway movements. We have our even ship movements also. We have our movements through ships, and we have our captive jetties also. So what exactly the organization needs to go one step ahead. There are schemes, there are things are available, and with the government. Yes, such type of lobby always help us to make more and more robust planning and one step ahead to the sustainability. I'm coming to the questions which talked about innovation. Yeah, innovation is something, say, buzzword to all our supply chain people after cost and service. It is the most unique buzzword, and we always use innovations in most of our strategy planning. So when we talked about sustainability, how innovations linked to it, Anurag has put lights on different ways. How innovations in terms of EV, it is LNG or CNG may be adding to our biofuel as a replacement and alternate. So in my view, there are many approach. So we may call it's a systematic intervention planning. It's SIP's type, where organizations are moving into. I can quote some example like owning a complete whole life cycle of a product. Say example, I'm giving an example. We are aware about Elite Dragonfly. It's a HP laptop. So this is the first laptop which HP has produced with completely ocean-bound recycled plastic. So this such strategy has started globally, similarly, if you quote an example, I'm giving an example which is related to the sustainability and how innovation be a part of that. Example of Indigo Agro, it's a 2017 based US based company. They started putting certain carbon credit where the farmers, they started giving payment in terms of carbon credit, and in the era of 2019 where and there are certain farms where the offsets of those carbons they purchase. So for all the peoples, all the farms involved in this, whether it is that business, the farmers, they are getting money, the company purchasing offset, they are getting benefit. Even this company, which I told that Indigo Agro, they also get benefits about getting money. And finally, last, the environment, the planet. So all these, we also, I'm giving an example of our currently in domestic sector also. Like in our organizations, rightly Anurag has told, like packaging is a key factor. So where we think about recycling, repeated use of packaging. So how to control on it? Say, giving a quick, good example, like what exactly in packaging, it may be 20, 30, 40 or 50 kg of bags. So it is very difficult to reuse these bags when it is used for construction, cement or cementitious product. So mostly it is very difficult. You can find it carrying vegetables, but for own consumption, it become very difficult. So what exactly we plan, like let's have a track, how, whether it is getting repeated use or not. So we started, this is something which were our step ahead process, where we started putting the jumbo bags with QR codes. This QR code, there are companies, there are forms available in India itself. So these softwares will help us whether there is a repeated use of these bags. So even the same QR code will help us that whether the next it has been used or not. So there is a credit score will come to us and we can utilize those. So lot of more innovative, I'm giving an example of innovations. So there are, another example I can say, like IRCTC has started like vending machines where you use your, now it is rightly, she has told it is glasses, but when you use it is plastic bottles. So you put the vending machines, you get certain, so these all are innovations are ready, available, and more forward steps are required. So it is an ongoing practice and innovation is a never end.
Thank you, Dhirendra. I think as per the industry perspective, if you see like we as an organization also committed for like 2030 as a scope 3 to be completed, and we had our vision mission very clear, and we are on a path up to get sustainable complete compliance by 2035. Just one liner from all of you individually, where the commitment from you and your organization is on this journey. Just quick answers.
I think we're looking at, not at a global level, but at an India level, next 10 years is something that we're targeting for a net zero emission, basically, yeah.
Anurag.
See, we have started on the journey of sustainability. However, commitments, I will have to see where the commitments and the dates are. But we have started on the journey, and what actually she mentioned, that it's not only sustainability, one point which she picked up, it is part of the culture. And we are actually at that stage where it is being actually sown in the seeds or within the employees, where sustainability becomes as a part of the culture. However, you have a lot of traditional ways of working, and it definitely takes time to change that. But yes, the awareness is coming, and that is one of the initial victories that have happened.
Thank you. Dhirendra.
I think Ajay, in my first day, I given an example, like my organizations is more going with both the concept, like top bottom and bottom top.
Okay.
So it's there that is embedded in in the vision and mission statements. Yes, sustainability, some things, profitability, economics, all those things are there, but sustainability is a part of it. Even in bottoms-up approach, the cross-functional collaboration is there. so which is intending for the sustainable culture.
Thank you. I think to summarize the whole discussion, what we had today, apart from the challenges, we had like code of conduct, green packaging, we talked about the green packaging, then sustainable transportation, we talked about that waste reduction is one of the process, life cycle assessment, designing a product itself, whether it is required to be changed, stakeholder engagement, that is very primarily is requirement, and then the reporting and transparency in the whole structure, because that is the part of, I think the industry has to take it very, very categorically when it comes to reporting and transparency in the whole system. Thanks, my panelists for throwing the light on this subject. If any questions are there, we'll take it one or two questions.
Thank you, all the panelists, as well as all the supply chain professional. At least a great learning to me. First time we have come, and it's very good that all the segment people have participated. There was a barrier when the people were in their own closet, that I am in multinational, I am in private, I am in, now the government of India has broken all those. Now here the two things, actually sustainability for the organization may mean what is explained here, cutting the cost, then recycling, etc. But please understand, if the very basis and fundamental gospel of sustainability comes from, if your raw material itself is not available, and if you are having the reliance on the so-called export and import during the bar time or during the time of famine and the natural crisis, if they don't supply, forget about the sustainability, very existence will be in the destroy and perilous state. So regarding this, I would like to clarify, these are the very short term, what madam has told, I agree, she has explained to a very large extent. These are 10 year, that is a perspective plan coming under the strategy. But the sustainability in supply chain basically refers to, not going by the Google version, we all are the professionals sitting here, is, can't you see the, what is for the industry is being formed and formulated is, not all the time for the growth purpose, but for the maintenance of existence purpose also. Now our existence is purely dependent on, like cement he has told, I would like to ask, government in India has introduced a lot of and spent a lot of money and by way of going for the alternative energy, green movement, etc. Specifically, it's not a question of personalized basis. 1890, if I well remember, it was taught in the India that first cement plant was formed by Dalmia in the eastern India. Headquarter was Calcutta. Then in 1904, Madras, it came, Portland, but it could not succeed. Then 1914, Porbandar was there. You as a ultra cement manufacturing, not to be taken as a segmented, what you are doing, say what I understand or anybody understand is that input for the cement is what? Sandstone, clay and sand. Now there are hundreds of rivers, sand is there, for preservance, for the replenishment. Is there any expenditure incurred by you? No, please understand. Even though the CSR or other forms has come because of the mandatory regulation, this is a very, very differential aspect in the committee and the minds of all the leadership, that government is bringing the regulation for what? Resource is owned by the society, correct? And most of the industries is centered towards the profit maximization. Government is not doing. They are spending billions of dollars. If you see from the 2002 6th Parliamentary Act, they are putting billions of dollars for enhancing and supporting the micro and small enterprises. Then the government has thought that these organizations, maybe government or private or multinational, they are not having the optimization level to go on an integrated basis for national. Therefore, they have introduced 2017
Sir,
Make
what
in
is
India.
your question?
Question I will come back. First listen and understand, sir. I admire. 2017 Make in India has come. There they want everything to be manufactured here. Those are the aspects which is coming from sustainable. Now, the last one, then I will ask you the question. If you see from the so-called Ashok era 2006 to 366, minerals were found in the eastern, and from there
because of coal and the knowledge in metallic formation, you could conquer and make a big empire, which has transcended to India. My question is, where is those sort of the original metallic processing, original this thing is, why we are having the dependency? So make in India provision, government is putting make 1, make 2, make 3, means government is financing. They tell us to develop this. They invite, they are giving 60%, 70%, 80% money. Still the people are not coming. So my request would be here to understand the things that we have to also think about the sustainability on the national horizon, on the business horizon. Tomorrow the sand would not be there. You have to find some alternative source, alternative material. So for that innovation, original research and development fund is also required to be put by all the segment of industry. Now my question about you is not personalized. What, like Dalmia, they have sustained for since 1892 till today, because they were also involved in having so many things to replenish the original input material. They have put a lot of billions of dollars for the tribal Santhal Pargana, where they have got the raw material. Ultratech, what are the moves? Just especially to know, it is nothing to personalize, that what are the larger and longer strategic measures you have taken for your sustainability supply chain management, for which the raw material is forming the core part. I will not go by the book of green energy cut, etc. That is coming for all the industries, and it is coming by way of regulatory measures. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I will touch upon the point which are related to raw material only, because the rest of other parts we also are about how the organizations are moving towards sustainable. So that is the concept which everyone is doing. If you talk about sand, yes, there are certain things where sand is a precious material. And there are certain value-added products other than cements. So companies are moving, including Ultratech, moving towards the value-added products, which is called plaster. If you go in the Bombay market, it's hardly possibility to have a conventional sand storage there. So the companies are moving toward sustainable way to go with a plaster where the ready-mix concrete or ready-mix plasters are available. The other way, there are other ways also sands are processed. We call it at M sand. If you go, there are various stone. From the stone, the crushers are there. The sand produced there, that though it is not widely accepted, but there are a lot of engineered products are there which get added into this. So that help a binding property and that make it equivalent to the normal sand, which silica sand, which you are talking about. Yes, there are focus required where these raw material also to be accepted with, because many places where there is a scarcity of space, they may incline towards the M sand. I can give you an example. Like if you go to the eastern part, there are a lot of rivers are available. Ample number of sands. You talked about the plant we talked about, sir. I am a part of that state only. And positively, my house is just 10 minutes away from that plant. So that plant is at Rajgangpur. This is called at OCL cement. So yes, the cement industry and OCLs like this, they are also pioneer in giving more and more sustainable culture. But when you talked about that, if somehow, somewhere the raw material is getting reduced, so other alternates approach are available. It is not a one-time, every company, every organization, I'll give you an example of M sand. So these are structures are available and company are committed to this type of sustainability.
I think, sorry to interrupt you because we are going away from the subject. maybe we'll take it offline because there are a lot of questions are there. Because paucity of time, we have to, because there are other speakers are there to take care. Thank you very much for the question. You can take
Thank
it
you
up
so
separately.
much. Thank you so much, panelists. Thanks for understanding. I know we are running a little late, but we'll catch up. Thank you.